Hey there, Sony. You done messed up lately. Now, this is for both Xbox and PlayStation before we get into it, but right now I have a PS4 and my 360 is really haven't had issues, and I know that the 360 servers and PS3 servers were kind of okay for the most part, but Lizard Squad put down PSN and Xbox Live, or so we think. It's never really been confirmed for a fact that Lizard Squad is behind these attacks, but there's more than enough evidence to support that everybody's suspicion is true and that it was Lizard Squad. But regardless, Sony and Xbox Live, how do you do this? How do you let this happen? And I know that this is one of millions of videos that's being posted about this, but you know, I want to give my own take because I'm a YouTuber and I have you guys to watch me rant about something that kind of bugs me a little bit because it happened a couple weeks ago, Sony and Xbox, and yet you guys don't think to change things, change passwords, change IPs, change this, change that. I don't really know how Lizard Squad does it, and I know that there's step-by-step instructions on what they did on the internet, and you know, I still don't really care to know, to be honest, because it's not really any of my meddling. It's not really anything that I'm interested in. It's nothing that I need to be taking a part of. But how do you let this happen twice, and on Christmas Day no less? Now, imagine how many kids and families who are technologically illiterate that get their PlayStations and Xboxes for Christmas for their little kids, little Jimmy and Johnny and Susie and Suzanne. Susie and Suzanne could be two different people. And imagine the utter shock when you put in your new system, plug it all in, connect to the internet, Wi-Fi, hardwire, whatever you feel like doing, and it just doesn't work. Imagine your shock if your poor little 7-year-old Susie, who doesn't know that Lizard Squad exists, doesn't know what Twitter is, doesn't know how to do any of this stuff, and maybe 38-year-old Jillian, who's the mother, doesn't know what to do, and Jeremy, the 40-year-old father, doesn't really know much about Twitter either. He's just got a little flip phone still. Imagine families like that that go home for Christmas, unpackage their new gifts, their new Xboxes, their new PlayStations, and it doesn't work. Now, I get that what they did is very intense and powerful, and I get that they did it for numerous reasons, and I think that it didn't necessarily benefit anybody because like they wanted to make people understand and realize how much they really spend on online gaming and how much time they spend doing it. And I get that. I understand that. Everybody needs to get outside a little bit more. Okay, well, first off, it's Christmas. I live in the north. I'm not going outside on Christmas Day. Granted, it was 45 degrees and it was my first white Christmas that I can, or not white Christmas rather, that I can remember, but I'm not going outside on Christmas Day. Granted, you know, it's Christmas Day, we have family and stuff, but in the morning, I open gifts with Karen, and what it really hurt is people like Karen and I. I get what they were trying to do, and to an extent I agree, but for people like Karen and I who I shouldn't say most, but some of what we have together is online gaming. We play games online because it's what we enjoy doing. We both have the same interests. We both have the same games. We play online together because it's a bonding experience for couples who don't get to be together, or for people that don't get to be together. Her and I are just a small example of the widespread amount of people that there are who ran into the same problem that we did. And I appreciate Lizard Squad for trying to kickstart a little jolt in our imaginations, but I also think that it was a horrible idea for them to do that because they didn't necessarily think of the whole wider picture. I think that they were too narrow focused, and what they did is bad. I'm not saying that, but you know, I'm kind of giving them the benefit of the doubt here, but I'm also reversing that benefit to then say, you know, it hurts people like Karen and I, it hurts long distance relationships, it hurts families of military members who, I don't know if they get games over there, but it hurts people beyond just the 13-year-old kids that rage on Call of Duty all day. It hurts people beyond their targeted audience. And like I said, I'm gonna be nice. I'm actually gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. Granted, right now their attacks were on Christmas, and it was Sony and Xbox's fault for not catching it, fixing it sooner. They're at fault too. Everybody's at fault here. But what I'm trying to get at is that they didn't really focus on the whole picture, and now still Karen and I can't really play Little Big Planet 3 on PS4 to the extent that we'd like to because the servers are still a little bit laggy. Now, I don't know if typically that's our problem, we'd notice it because our Skype would disconnect, but our Skype's working fine, both of our internets work fine. We've even overloaded our own internet routers purposely to test it, and it still works just fine. So, you know, there's a lot of backlash after this, and I'm curious to see what Sony and Xbox are going to do in response to this. Last time it happened, Sony gave us Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, which, thank you, Sony. That was fantastic. Karen and I love the game. We play it together all the time, but now we want to know what we're going to get this time, because now there's, you know, a solid week in the last 2 months where we haven't had service, and to be honest, I don't feel like paying for it. I don't feel like being the one that's stuck with millions of other people that have to now sit at home and be curious when their games are going to work. The parents of these kids that got new systems, when are their games going to work? When is this going to happen? When is that going to happen? They need to be compensated for this, because we're just sitting around. They didn't update us at all. The only way I knew whether PSN was up or not is because I tweeted out, and amazing people like yourselves let me know, because you were either already trying to see if PSN is up or, you know, whatever. But you guys, Sony and PlayStation, Sony and Xbox, you did a horrible job of letting people know. I'm just frustrated that you guys as companies can't just man up, take care of business, fix the problem, tell us what's wrong, tell us how it happened, tell us what the solution is going to be, and tell us a timetable. I'm sick of dealing with this stupid stuff where you guys just go and you're multi-billion-dollar companies and you guys make so much profit every single year, and you have how much money in your bank accounts because your CEOs and presidents are getting raises, going on trips, not doing any of the work because you have the little guys do it across the world in small remote countries. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not stereotyping, but that's what I'm getting at. Like, you guys are going on your precious vacations, and Christmas Day, your servers go down and nothing happens. You guys just let it happen, watch Lizard Squad do their thing, and don't really care. And I just think that that's wrong, and we need to be compensated because you guys have so much money in the bank. We have to be compensated for this because right now it's not our fault. Us as general gamers and general people who felt the whiplash, and people like Karen and I who have no reason to be without our games and without reasons, you know, without ways to connect as a couple together when we're so far apart. There's no excuse for that kind of stuff, and personally, I can't wait to see what you guys are going to do about it because it's bogus, and how do you not catch that?